I used to think that pork chops and karate chops were the same thing. I thought they were both pork chops. And because my grandmother thought it was cute, and because they were my favorite, she let me keep doing it. Not really a big deal. One day, before I realized fat kids are not designed to climb trees, I fell out of a tree and bruised the right side of my body. I didn't want to tell my grandmother about it because I was afraid I'd get in trouble for playing somewhere I shouldn't have been. A week later, the gym teacher noticed the bruise and I was sent to the principal's office. From there I was sent to another small room with a really nice lady who asked me all kinds of questions about my life at home. I saw no reason to lie. As far as I was concerned, life was pretty good. I told her, whenever I'm sad, my grandmother gives me karate chops. This led to a full-scale investigation and I was removed from the house for 3 days until somebody finally decided to ask how I got the bruises. News of this silly little story spread throughout the school and I earned my first nickname, Pork Chop. To this day, I hate pork chops. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way. Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones, as if broken bones are worse than the names that we were called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us, that we'd be lonely forever, that we'd never meet someone to make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool sheds. So broken heartstrings bled the blues. We tried to empty ourselves so that we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone. That an ingrown heart is something surgeons can cut away, that there's no way for it to metastasize. It does. She was 8 years old. It was her first day of grade 3, when she first got called ugly. We both kept getting moved to the back of the class, so we'd stop being bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battleground where we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We had to stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside, we'd have to rehearse running away or practice staying still like statues, leaving no clues that we were there. And in grade 5, they taped a sign to the front of her desk that read, "Beware of dog." And to this day, they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom, because they see her heart before they see her skin, because she's only always ever been amazing. He was a broken branch, grafted onto a different family tree. Adopted. Became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy. He started therapy in the 8th grade. He had a personality made up of tests and pills. He lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs, 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence for being called pauper. 1 part because of the pills, 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 because of a kid who could still go home to mom and dad, had the audacity to tell him, get over it. As if depression is something that can be remedied by the contents of a first aid kit. To this day, he can describe to you in detail the way the sky bends in the moments before it's about to fall. Despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can't understand that sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. Kids are still being called names. The classics are, hey stupid, hey spaz. Seems like each school has an army of names that keeps getting updated every year. And if a kid breaks in a school, does anyone around, and no one around chooses to hear, do they make a sound? Are we just background noises of some soundtrack stuck on repeat when people say things like, kids can be cruel? Each school was a big top circus tent, and the pecking order went from lion tamers to acrobats, from clowns to carnies, all of them miles ahead of who we were. We were freaks. Lobster claw boys and bearded ladies, oddities juggling depression and loneliness, trying to kiss the loneliest parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while the others slept, we were practicing. We were walking the tightrope, and yes, some of us fell. But I want to tell them that all of this is just debris. When we finally decide to smash all the things we thought we used to be, and if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror. Look a little closer, stare a little longer, because there's something inside of you that made you keep trying despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and you signed it yourself, you signed it, they were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they didn't pick you first for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell but never told, because how can you hold your ground when everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdogs because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we were not what we were called. We're not abandoned cars sitting empty, stalled out on some highway. And if in some way we are, don't worry. We only got out to walk and get gas. We're the graduating members of the class of We Made It. Not the faded echoes of voices calling out names.